Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week, get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock with news of more monumental economic changes. The first estimate of US first quarter GDP is out, and it makes for disturbing reading. In real terms, their economy shrank at an annual 4.8% rate in the period. Obviously, most of that caused by a very sharp retreat in March. But in fact, we all know that the real impact didn't occur until April, so this is just a precursor to a much grimmer second quarter result. Some perspective is required. Real changes is one thing, but we live in a nominal world, and the first quarter fall was $191 billion, taking their economy size down to $21.5 trillion. A $191 billion drop in 3 months is a global scale shock, and equivalent to wiping out New Zealand's annual economic activity. Some analysts expect second quarter US GDP to fall as much as 30%. Many eyes are now on May rent payments, which are now almost due. It is unlikely to be a happy time for many landlords. The US Fed's meeting this week has just wrapped up, and apart from restating their commitment to do whatever it takes, they announced no new policy initiatives. But very large job losses were announced overnight, with Boeing and British Airways leading the way. GE also announced major cutbacks in the airplane engine division. Major job losses in Japan and Singapore show that the global extent of the cutbacks, with 7% of Asia Pacific's working hours wiped out in April. In South Korea, they reported a surprisingly robust industrial production growth in March, up 7% year on year. But the same was not true in Thailand, where their equivalent change was a crash of 11%. In Australia, regulator ASIC has told banks that when assessing new customers for loans, they should not assume income levels will return to pre-coronavirus levels. That's a pretty tough standard. And the US Treasury 10-year yield is unchanged at 0.61%. Gold is down another $4 to $1,705 an ounce. US oil prices are slightly higher today, but they're currently just over $15 a barrel, a $2 gain, but still well below the cost of production for most firms. International oil prices are up a similar amount to just over $22 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar has firmed again overnight against the greenback and is now at 61.1 US cents. On the cross rates, we're holding at 93.5 Australian cents, and against the euro, we're still firm at 56.3 euro cents. That means that our trade-weighted index is now at 67 and a 6-week high. And there's been a spectacular rise in the price of Bitcoin overnight. It is now up to $8,901, a leap of $1,150 or 15% since this time yesterday. Halving hype is behind the jump. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.